my name is Debbie Farinella and I'm on the creative design team at Sizzix, and I'm here at Scrapbook.com, super excited to show you some of our Chapter 1 releases. A lot of the products I'm going to show you today are involving all of our Thinlits, some of the different floral, the lowercase and uppercase, showing you our sticky grid, which is a wonderful technique where you're able to line up all of your messages and different phrases that you want to have on your cards and your projects. Also showing you some of our adhesive tape as well as our foam adhesive sheets. So I'm going to start with showing you a very cute project that you'll be able to make for springtime, Mother's Day, or Easter. It's using our sticky grid sheets, our bunny scene, and also our new adhesive tape runner. So to show you all the different pieces that you need to create this spring card, you're going to have to use some of our new and exciting spring colors that we have for our Chapter 1 cardstock. So with our cardstock that we've released for Chapter 1, you get 80 sheets and 20 amazing colors that are perfect for all of your making projects. So for the card that we're going to be making right now, I'm going to show you the colors that I chose. Some of them already have our adhesive sheets on the back of them. So what you're going to want to do is take whatever color you choose. Of course, for me, I use a brown for a tree. We have our adhesive sheets, so you can peel off the backing and choose whichever color paper you want, and then line it up. And it's going to create an adhesive on both sides of your paper. And now you've created a sticker. Cut off the excess, depending on what machine you have. I'm using our regular Big Shot machine. If you had the Big Shot Plus, you have a wider opening and the 8.5 width paper fits right through it. So to avoid any excess or having to have any of the parts sticking to your machine or your cutting pad, you're going to want to make sure that all of it's hanging off, it's cut off. So you don't want it to adhere to your paper. So what I'm going to do next, after I lay down the adhesive sheets, put a cutting pad on the bottom. If you're familiar with our Big Shot machine, you want to have the platform for any of the die cutting of our Thinlits. You want to make sure that the whole platform is completely closed. On the platform, it'll show you exactly what you need to do on that level. So since I'm going to be cutting with the Thinlit, I'm going to have the platform completely closed to tab 2, have a cutting pad down, cardstock down with adhesive on the backing. Now, if you're familiar in the past, we always said that you needed to have your blade side down. But for us, for the platform, it's easier to have the cutting blade up, especially for the Thinlits. And the reason I like to do it that way is because if it goes through the machine, then I can see right on top that it went all the way through, whether I need to have it go through another pass or not. So I'm going to add another cutting pad on top, and we have the exclusive Ocean Blue glitter cutting pad. How great is that? Perfect for any of your springtime projects or any time of the year projects. I'm going to run it through. And all of you that are familiar with Sizzix, you know that that cracking sound is normal. It doesn't break the machine, it's just letting you know that everything's cutting through. Now, to make sure that I don't have anything or any static that might release the paper from the die, I like to slide it off, because if I notice that it didn't cut an area, then I'm going to be able to put it right back on. So if there's a certain area that looked like it didn't cut, you can tilt it a little bit. There's a little bit in the middle that didn't cut through, so I'm going to run it through one more time. And there we have it. So you notice that the die cut piece is still inside of the blade. I don't want to make sure that this stays in here. So an easy way to take it out is I'm going to take our die brush. It comes with the foam piece. And I'm going to run it just to get all those little pieces out. Then I'm going to take our die pick. And we have poke holes in all of our Thinlits. It shows all the little areas that you can poke through to make sure your piece comes out and you won't ruin any of your paper. So there's a certain part here that I want to make sure I get. And if I don't want all these flowers, the flowers that I use on that cute little tree, I want to space them out in different areas depending on the color I choose. So what I'm going to do is keep this, choose the certain flowers that I want, and then I'm going to put it aside because who knows, I might need these spring color flowers another time for another project. So that's a way of doing that. Okay, so you'll notice with some of our intricate dies, a lot of the detail sometimes gets embedded into your die itself. So we have come up with these release sheets that I swear by. They're the best. It's similar to a wax paper. It's shiny on one side and not so shiny on the other side. So what you're going to do is you're going to lay it inside the die. So this is the duller side, and this is the part that's more shiny. So what you're going to do is you're going to have the shiny side against the blade. You're going to lay it down onto the area that you're going to cut. I like to do blade side down for something like this, just because there's multiple pieces that you want to make sure stay inside. And you run it through the machine. And just to be safe, one more time for the intricates. And if you can, sometimes I leave the release sheet inside, only because I know I'm going to be cutting it multiple times, and you want to make sure that you don't have to keep laying another piece. So it's actually reusable. And after about 10 or 12 or 15 passes, it starts to get chewed up a little bit, and that's when you want to replace it. But the package comes with multiple sheets, and they're reusable, so that's the best part. So as you can see, the die itself did not stay inside of the blade. And here's one I have already peeled off and ready to go. So adhesive backing is on the back side. Peel it off a little bit. And what I'm going to do now is get all the pieces ready to show you all the parts that you need to create the springtime card. So I just want to show you really quick how you can create all the individual little floral colors that you're going to put on your tree. Since it's springtime, the trees are always blossoming. I'm going to take the same die and just using certain colors. I don't want to use a whole lot of putting a whole sheet over that. I'm just going to lay down the color that I want for different flowers. So just a little strip or little square of paper over a particular blossom that you want. Lay it there on top of the die, blade side up. Another cutting pad on top, and I'm going to run it through. This way you're able to get multiple flowers all out at the same time, ready to adhere to your card. So you can see that you have these flowers, already have the adhesive on back. You're going to peel it off, cut it, and add it to your tree. So you can see the grass here. I want to make sure it's green. Since it's springtime, the grass is green, not in the summertime when it's a little brown. So since I cut it out in the brown, I want to cover it with a green. So I have a piece of green paper that's cut the right measurements to lay over the grass area of the die, and it already has adhesive sheets on the back. So I'm going to just lay that over the area down here, the good side of the paper against the blade. That way it'll line up perfectly. And I'm going to run it through the machine, cutting pad on top. And with the die brush, I'm going to run it over the die to get some of the areas out that stuck inside the die. I'm going to take my die pick, and through our little poke holes, it's going to be able to release it out for me. And the release sheets help a lot. So you can see that it has the little area where the bunny is, and the bunny's tails are on there. Well, the bunny isn't green, and neither are his tails. So I'm going to make sure I cut around that area. And just cut along the blades of the grass and away from the bunny's body. So I'm going to go ahead and do the same idea with their cottontails, because we know their cottontails are not green. So you're going to lay down just a basic strip of white cardstock just over the area of their little bunny cottontails. So I could put a little square over each bunny little area. And with the exclusive Scrapbook.com cutting pad, I'm going to run it through. Poke it out here. And then just cutting around the area. There's one little cottontail ready to go. So now I have the grass with the adhesive sheet on the back and the cottontails ready to go and add to the card. So what I want to do first is take the bunny with the trees, and I'm going to peel off the green grass. And it lines up perfectly since we cut it in the exact area. I wanted to make sure that I had the little leaf there, so when I add the flower, the leaf part is already green and ready to go. If you forget to do that part, no problem. You can just go ahead and cut that separately. And just kind of guide it along the area, exactly lays over where you had it placed. I'm going to take some of our adhesive tape. What you could do also is you could use foam tape and do a little pop and add a little dimension to his little cottontails. That way it'll really puff up like it does on the actual bunny. Okay, now that I have some of the flowers all ready to adhere to my blossoming tree, I'm going to go ahead and lay them down onto each little coordinated flower that's on the branch. Put that little green one down too. So here's a few different ways that you could do it. You can either use a wet glue and adhere it down or the adhesive tape, and you're going to go ahead and adhere it to the card. Since this is a fold-over card, I'm going to layer 2 different colors on top of the fold-over white base. So I have my blank white cardstock. Make sure the fold's on the left. Nothing worse than creating a card, having it all assembled, and you realize it's backwards. So I'm going to take the green first. And with my adhesive Sizzix tape runner, I'm going to run it on the back of the cardstock. Position it centered so there's an even border of white on all 4 sides. And the next layer is the yellow. Position that on top. Even border on both sides of the green. And it's ready to decorate. So with my little springtime tree and the little bunny guys at the base, I'm going to peel off the Sizzix adhesive backing. And I don't want to position it at the bottom because I'm going to show you a wonderful little trick using our sticky grid sheets. So I'm going to put it a little bit towards the top. It's okay if the branches hang off because it's kind of a cute little, adds a little dimension as long as your envelope fits. Okay, so when you see the area here where it says spring, you might be wondering, how did I get it so perfectly done? Well, that's the trick of our sticky grid sheets. They're one of my favorite newest products. So our sticky grid sheets are adhesive on both sides. They aren't like a permanent adhesive like you would use as a sticker, but they are something that you would lay on your cutting pad, and I like to keep mine on my cutting pad for good. So I have one cutting pad that has sticky grid sheet and it stays on there the whole time. So what you're going to do is you're going to peel it off. And I have one already prepared. It's already laid down onto the cutting pad. So it's already down. But you'll notice that after you lay it down, it's very tacky. So what we like to do at Sizzix is after we adhere it down to our cutting pad, lay it down straight, make sure there's no bubbles, and then we pat it on our clothing. Because sometimes when it's too sticky and you go to run through your paper and your die cut, your paper might adhere to it so strongly you go to peel it off and it's cut perfectly, however it tears. So after getting a little fuzz onto it, it helps from the stickiness and it won't ruin any of your product that you're cutting. What I'm going to show you now is how we lay it out. So you want to make sure that your words and letters are down mirror image, because if you think about it, when you go ahead and cut it with the paper, you're going to run it through and look at it, it's going to be spelled backwards. So if it's a word that's one die that says travel or happiness or love, you're going to lay it, all of them are going to be laid blade side up no matter what you're saying, but the messages are easy. So you want to make sure mirror image when you're spelling out a particular word. So starting with the G, moving forward, and your last letter is the capital S. Press them down and you're good to go. What I do next is make sure with the good side of the paper down, so this is a textured paper, with the good side down, I'm going to make sure it's positioned centered perfectly. Just kind of eyeball it, bring it up so it's in the middle of the paper. And remember, this is a cutting pad on the bottom, so you don't need another one. You do need one on top. So I'm going to take this one off. Go ahead and put one cutting pad on top and run it through. Peel up your paper. See, with a little fuzz, it didn't stick too bad. Now you're going to want to save these pieces for another project. I don't need them for this one, but all the little letters that fall out, it's perfect. But you can tell that this cut the word out spring perfectly, centered and positioned exactly how you want it. So what you're going to want to do next is take just a solid piece of paper, put an adhesive on the back. You can either put it on the back of the word spring or on the front of the solid piece and lay it right there, and it's ready to go. And using our Wafer-Thin dies, I love to use this little label die that comes in the set and using it as a little label to lay over my spring word. This is another option that you can do, but you're cutting it all through one pass. You don't have to worry about doing the word spring first and then the frame next. You can do it all at once and you're good to go. Put the paper on top. And there you go. How great is that? Ready to add to any of your cards, your DIY projects, or anything you're doing to make life handmade. So with using our intricate dies, our release sheets, and our sticky grid, we've created this adorable springtime card that's perfect for Mother's Day, Easter, or anything that you have that are upcoming in the spring season. So now I'd like to show you some of the other ideas that you can do to create with some of our new Thinlit dies. Using our pop art, numbers and letters, uppercase and lowercase, you can create this adorable journal. It also comes with geometric shapes, so you can embellish and decorate the cover of any of your little cards or journals that you're creating. Using our Spring Thing die, we've created this oval pattern with the flowers, using our paper sculpting tool to create a little dimension to your flowers. With our Rain Boot floral die, you can do this cute little card where you can add the little vines, some jewels, and it makes an adorable card for those rainy day springtime festivities. Using our Rain Boot floral die, our sticky grid sheets, as well as our lowercase alphabet and our foam tape, you can create this adorable card that you would like to congratulate somebody on some upcoming milestone in their life. Another idea with our sticky grid sheets, as well as our foam tape, you can create this Happy Easter card using our origami bunny. And how cute is this? Using our sticky grid sheets, our foam tape, and our pop art uppercase, you can create this Celebrate Shaker card. With a little bit of adhesive and foam tape on the corners, you get this little pocket where you can add all the little fun things to make somebody's celebration even more festive. And what better way to celebrate mom than a handmade card? Remember how your mother always said she'd rather you give her something that you made versus something you purchased? Well, how cute is this? Using our Rain Boot floral and our hanging plant die, you can create this dimensional card with our foam tape underneath. Adding a little dimension with the jewels makes it absolutely beautiful, and she will love it. And this is a very cute journal we've created using our sticky grid sheets, our lowercase, our spring things, and our little tabs from our mini album. With all the little pages, using some kind of accessory and embellishment from all of our dies that celebrate spring, with the beautiful colors of our Chapter 1 palette. And how great is this home decor piece? Using our Rain Boot die and our mixed media die, you can create this framed piece that will look great in anybody's home or any child's bedroom. We have a great little card here, Spring, using our adhesive grid sheet so you can line up the words perfectly, and our floral rubber stamp makes for a great card or the cover of a journal. We hope any of these projects and all of these projects have inspired you with using our Thinlit dies to create something wonderful this spring season. Thanks for watching. If you like this video and want to see more from Scrapbook.com, please share, like, subscribe, and leave a message. Happiness is life handmade.